Welcome back to a new year episode of Hold Flip Dump. My name's Robin. I'm here with
Alex. Hello, everybody.
Smooth. And we're going to
Smooth.
be reviewing three tokens today. One we're going to hold, one we're going to flip, one we're going to dump. And these three tokens are the top three trending tokens on CoinGecko as of today. The market in general has been going down somewhat, but these three have been performing well in the last 24 hours. I think the top three on CoinGecko is based on what people have been searching for. So we are actually seeing how many people have typed in these tokens into the CoinGecko search bar, and these are the top three for that.
So interest-based more than actual performance.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, these tokens haven't necessarily been going up or down. They've been in the public or the collective zeitgeist, and people have been searching for them, which is and it could also be for bad reasons, of course. Like if there's a hack, or if there's some bad negative press about a project, then people are going to search for that token as well. So the top three were Magic Square, or SQR. Square is the token. I'll just give like a brief overview. I should say that we are not experts and we do not know a lot about these projects. So this is very much like a quick deep dive, a quick surface level dive into these tokens, and just showing you what we might do if we were to research these and start researching these and then follow up later with further research. But Magic Square, I believe, is a app store for the blockchain, and I think it's best described by going to their websites. They have I guess the closest thing is the Apple App Store, but everyone's seen the App Store format. It's a list of applications. You can find out information about the application. I think they have reviews, validation score. So they are getting their collective user base to find out about this project, and the idea being, if it's got a high validation score, then it's trustworthy. And people are leaving reviews about the project and trying to give other people an idea of what it's all about, which actually would be incredibly useful. The question is it really trustworthy? Does it work? I know that they've been incentivizing people to leave reviews and airdropping tokens to people for engaging with the platform. So by leaving reviews or other actions on the platform, they've been dropping the Square token. And I think the Square token is very recent. It's only just gone live. So that's probably the reason that people have been searching it. It's only got data on CoinGecko from the 11th of this month. So only a few weeks to go with.
Last week. Yeah.
Yeah, last week, yeah. So not a huge amount of historic data for this technical analysis today, but I think actually the other tokens will give us a little bit more opportunity. The second token is PYTH. Do you know how to pronounce that, Alex? No idea. Yeah, I'm going to go with PYTH because it sounds a bit like Python.
Yep.
This one also not a huge amount of data. Go to the max. Yeah, we're talking end of November 2023. This was launched. And this is a bit more of a technical one. This is a first-party oracle. So if you're building a blockchain application and you want access to market data, then this will give you low latency, reliable access, or at least that's what it promises. I have not validated that at all, but it does seem to have some big partners. Looking at their website, they have some pretty big partnerships. Players like OKX, Binance. Obviously, I don't know how much they're using their data, but they appear to be pretty big, and they're across all EVM compatible chains pretty much. So they provide this data at a low latency to lots of other companies. So this is like a infrastructure investment, I guess. If you were to buy PYTH token, you'd be buying into the idea that in the future, lots more projects, lots more protocols are going to use this data, and therefore the price would increase. I don't know too much about the tokenomics, so it'd be interesting to hear your take, Alex, on that. But that's a quick overview of PYTH token, and then MANTA network. Actually, on Twitter last week, we did a quick chart video showing MANTA network because it is one of the investments that the Binance pool did. So the Binance pool invests in various blockchain startups. One of them is MANTA network. And I think this one has been trending now for over a week because of the token drop. So again, not a lot of data to go on. Last week this dropped and it's been more or less flat, up slightly from a low of $2.08 and now it's around $2.28. So not a lot of movement. What is MANTA network? It's a zero proof rollup, I believe. So it's basically a platform that other projects are building on. And yeah, that's a brief overview. I know, Alex, you've had a little bit of experience with PYTH. Have you come across any of these other tokens before?
No, so again, for full disclosure, I actually was one of the lucky people that received the PYTH airdrop towards the end of last year. I cashed out all my airdrop, not for any reasons. I can share that later on, but also, yeah. Apart from that, I don't know any of the other ones. I've been using the Solana network since it went live, so anybody that was using any of the apps powered by PyTH data, then those wallets got rewarded. So I was just one of the lucky ones. But apart from that, I don't know much about PyTH, so it'll be interesting to go through the information and then seeing whether I would come in as a long-term holder or I would actually go ahead and dump it right away. So should we crack on? Actually, thanks so much for sharing that information. I think that also gives a bit more structure to what we do. I think that normally we don't have a lot of structure in these conversations. So yeah, let's start with the Magic Square, the um, App Store for. So you said is the App Store for what, tokens or
I
apps
think it's
overall?
for dApps in general. So if you've got a dApp, you register it on the Magic Square App Store, and then that allows people to go in and review them and give them ratings and stuff like that. It seems like what they're doing is incentivizing their community to review apps and
Mm,
to add validations, I think they call them. And depending on how many of these things, how many of these micro actions you do, you get airdropped a certain amount of their token. So they're using it as like a rewards system. There's also actually, interestingly, a referral system built in. So you can, if you want to promote your app on the Magic Store, you can offer on-chain rewards, I think, which is interesting coming from our perspective, of course, because that's something that we offer clients with Wobble. But from what I can see, their on-chain referral system is not actually doing a whole load of volume. So it's probably in the early stages, I would say.
hmm. Okay. It looks like it's not necessarily just dApps. So Galaxy Fight Club, very popular game. Um, it's an app on iOS and Android. Kingdom Carnage, I know the guys actually based in the UK, so shout out to the Kingdom Carnage team. All of these look like apps. Universe, yes, there's a lot of apps. League of Kingdoms that are in the App Store. So I'm wondering if they've just simply set up Geopoly as well. Sorry, I'm just rumbling there for a second. But there's a lot of these apps that are actually on the more, if we can call it, traditional app stores.
Yeah, it
And
seems to be a
probably they
blend of
just,
Web 2 and Web 3, maybe.
Yeah, maybe they're just indexing all of those apps that have a Web3 element to it, whether it's NFTs or if they've got, um, tokens. Fishverse, also a new game. I know the guys that are building this. So yeah, really interesting. And I also find interesting how they're rewarding people for leaving reviews. Anything like what's it called? The app for reviews when you're traveling. I completely forgot.
Oh,
Do you know what I'm talking about?
you mean like, yeah, I've completely forgotten as well.
Yeah, it's TripAdvisor. There we go.
TripAdvisor.
So anything like TripAdvisor or Google Reviews or Clutch or Trustpilot, anything like that, they actually have on the policy that nobody can reward financially anybody to leave a review. I'm guessing that in this case, it's more like a, I don't know, app usage participation kind of token, and you're not rewarded for leaving a positive review, but instead it's just any kind of interaction, any kind of um, engagement with the app. So I'm wondering, how that's going. I'd like to see if there's any analytics, any public analytics as to how many users are on Magic Store and how many reviews have been left, I guess. I think
Yeah,
that would be quite useful to know as well, because if there's, let's say, 1 million users and they're getting, I don't know, 1 square per day, for example, then that gets close to $500,000 worth of tokens that could be dumped on a daily basis.
yeah.
So stuff like that would be super useful to know.
I think
I
once
mean,
you connect
they're
to
not.
your wallets, it is possible to see leaderboards and stuff like that. Obviously, we don't know how correct or how trustworthy those numbers are, but you might be able to get an idea of how many people are leaving reviews based on those
Mhm.
incentive leaderboards.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I'd love to see that leaderboard. Yeah. What is this? Boost. I need to connect my wallet. Spaces, as in X spaces. Interesting.
Yeah, a lot of this is very new by the
Okay.
looks of it, so I'm not sure how much they've actually built out and how much is still in the works. I guess a question that I have is: do we need an app store for Web3 apps? And
Hmm.
what purpose is this actually serving? Is this like a long term thing that's going to be part of the ecosystem, or like can we just are we happy to use apps based on recommendations from elsewhere? I know that this is not the first time
Hmm.
that somebody's tried to create a DApp or a Web3 app store. So, what makes this one more likely to work? I wonder.
Yeah, and I'm not really able to download any of these apps. For again, transparency, I do have Kingdom Carnage on my phone, um, but I'm not able. If I could download, I need to connect my wallet to this app, and if I want to follow, yeah, more of the same. But if I simply just go to the Android store, I can download this right away. So they're not really making it easier for these app builders to gain more downloads, but rather, just getting those reviews and validation, I guess, to, I don't know, just make it a bit more trustworthy. But I'm not sure how useful that is just yet. And again, I'd love to see, I can see these people have, sorry, there's 70,000 votes. Kingdom Carnage, and we get plenty of votes here. So does this tell me now how many? Give Cloudflare a second. Yes, I am a human. Yeah, we don't know what rewards these users are getting. Does that mean there's 70,000? What's the rate, token rate? So are they getting a 1 square, 5 square? If it's one, that means that there's 70,000 square tokens. available to eat, overall to 70,000 people, which means again we've got about $35,000 worth of token that could be then dumped into the market. So yeah, I mean the app looks cool. Your question was, do we need another app store? And there's a bunch of different projects that are building stuff like this. For reference, one that I do like is the Saga phone by Solana. They've got a decentralized app store. Check it out if you want more information, of course. But essentially is, just to give a bit more freedom to app developers and not be stuck within certain constraints that either Apple or the Android store give to app developers. So I think that
Yeah.
there's a need. I just don't think I'm not able to see how Magic Square is actually benefiting any of these builders just yet.
No. From a user experience perspective, it makes way more sense to have the App Store on the device that you're going to be using. So having a third-party App Store or something that's just a layer on top of that just makes things more difficult, because then you have to connect to the original App Store and then you have to download the app. I guess it makes sense if you're targeting specific Web3 apps only. So if you want to have a more Web3 oriented view on whether this app is legit, then that might help. It also might help for distributing Web3 rewards for downloading apps and doing other
Yeah.
actions. I guess that's probably their main value proposition. But yeah, we'll wait to see. It's all very new. It will be interesting to see how this reward system continues, whether people will continue doing these actions, reviewing, leaving feedback on these apps in order to get the token. That also depends on the success of the token, the how long they're able to maintain that price. So one to watch, definitely, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks to me, at this stage at least, more like a product hunt type of thing,
Yeah.
whereby you don't necessarily download the app, but you can leave reviews and just essentially vote for the best app of the day, week, month, etc. Um, yeah.
Yeah,
So
like
yeah, it
with
kind of looks like it's
startups.
indexing. Yeah.
Like with
Sorry, go
startups,
on.
it's possible to. I mean, as a new startup, you'll leave your app on Product Hunt, on various other apps. But there's probably like 10 app stores that you would probably want to list on. When you're
Yeah.
starting a new Web3 project, maybe you'll want to add it to the Magic Store and see how that works out for you. It really depends on
Hmm.
the success of the early success of the Magic Store, whether new projects will start engaging with it and whether consumers will trust it as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm going to move on to the next one. I think I spent a bit too much time on this, trying to understand this. So I'll be a bit faster with the next two. I'll move on to PYTH. Again, data Oracle, and this was all, had all the buzz at the end of last year because, the entire Solana community was just expecting to get the airdrop, and it was PYTH, and the other one was Gito, Gito, however you pronounce it. And those two tokens, they were, yeah, everybody went crazy about, um, yeah, PYTH. There's a link, I think that the Solana Foundation made available for you to safely check whether you're eligible for any of these airdrops. I think that if you've used Solana products, you should still be able to download? No, double check if you're eligible to get the airdrop. So yeah, just check for reliable links, of course. And now, what I'd like to understand is, yeah, the ecosystem. I'd like to know how the token is related to the data use. Okay, as we can see on this data, the token did rise up very fast in what, like a week, less than a week, just reached an all-time high, and then it's been a bit of a downtrend ever since. But fair enough, the market has also been looking not so good, and I'm guessing that a lot of these tokens also were just redirecting liquidity over to larger cap tokens like Solana, Ethereum, Bitcoin, as those prices kept going up towards the end of last year. And ever since the start of the year, we've seen that slight increase from what it looks like a 20-cent valuation to now it's sitting on, yeah, about 37, 38 cents per token. So I'd like to know, yeah, how that's related. We can see the publisher uptime has gone up in, like, a lot, or I'm not entirely sure how I'm reading this. Data analytics, exchange comparison. Okay, I'd like to understand these um, analytics a bit better. And if I could find, let's see if the documentation has any information about the token. Robin, I know that you've looked into this just before we started. So have you had a chance to check if there's any direct link between the tokenomics and the data use?
No, that's something I wasn't able to find. But just reading some top line figures here, in less than a year since the launch of the cross chain pull oracle, the network has secured over $1 billion in total value. The PYTH network has been used by over 250 applications to secure 100 billion in trading volume. Integration with PYTH price feeds is permissionless. I mean, based on those numbers and the fact that their partners include Binance, OKX, Jane Street, Bybits, like some big blockchain names, it seems like they have a significant amount of traction despite being relatively new. Obviously, they're competing with other oracles. They're not the only ones in the market. So um, I guess they're probably competing on things like latency and data availability, things like that. But they seem to be setting off on the right foot, from what I can tell.
Hmm. Okay. Um, Still doesn't really tell me a lot as to if it's simply a utility token or a
Right.
governance token, or do you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's something that I'd like to know. I'm not sure if CoinGecko has any of
There's a
that
little bit.
information. What makes it unique?
There's a little bit of more information on CoinGecko. PYTH is used as a governance token. PYTH governance concern high-level parameters of the Oracle network's mechanisms through on-chain voting by token holders. Um, so it seems like, yeah, you're able to guide product development and vote on matters that govern the
Okay.
PYTH ecosystem. So protocol
Yeah.
decisions and governance, essentially.
Hmm. Okay. So then, yeah, I'm never too sure as to how to go about governance tokens, because they, if they're not being used for any kind of fees, whether it's transfer fees or data consumption, or if there's a burn mechanism. Let's say, for example, there's a new data set and someone's connecting to the data set, and to connect, you need to pay in Python. I don't know, any mechanisms like that. I'm never so sure as to how to control that not control, but track the potential price action,
Yeah.
because it's just purely based on the community wanting to vote
Yeah.
on proposals
It's
instead of
always
that.
a like there's a promise of potential further utility with governance tokens like this. It's always like, will the PYTH token in the future be used as some kind of fee based token, or will there be utility that directly correlates to the volume in the protocol? And in theory there could be, but right now it's just governance, so it's hard to price that into
Mm,
the token price. Even if the PYTH network was to explode overnight, most of the if there were gains on the token price, that would just be speculation on the future utility or what
yeah.
might happen. It's not necessarily tied directly to it.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I don't know how to feel about this token just yet. Again, it requires a bit more research, and you know, it price went down. If you cashed out your airdrop, it's what it is, of course. But again, it's grown quite a bit. What is this? Like a 10, more like a 5, 8% growth
Yeah.
since
When
the
did you
start of the
cash
year.
out?
So
Just
it's
out of
not bad.
interest, did you hit the top
As soon
or?
as I got it, sometime, not right at the top, but it was closer to this area. Just
Yeah.
to leave it to yeah, my wallet to know. But yeah, it was before the end of last year. Um, Yeah. Okay. So, but in terms of whether it's a whole flip or dump, I guess I'm slightly biased on this because I already dumped it, but that doesn't mean that that should be my final decision. Who knows? I'll move on to Manta unless you've got anything else on PyTH.
No, go ahead.
Okay, Manta network. Yeah, we could, if looking on a broader perspective, it looks a bit of a flat movement from 232 to 227. So since launch, it's been just a few cents drop. Obviously, low market cap token, so it looks crazy, but it's not that bad. And we've got zero knowledge proofs, yes, and it's live, excellent. Modular, lower gas fees. Is this any good for a developer, Robin?
And that is definitely a good question, one that I don't know the answer to, but I was going to say that something like this, a platform or a layer two like this, would need to be like one of the big indicators, I think, would be GitHub statistics based on the number of developers using the Manta network, because
Mm,
any platform like this is just a sum of its parts. So if you're a developer on the Manta network and your protocol, your platform is successful, then that boosts the ecosystem, which means more developers join the ecosystem, and the price, the Manta price, should increase over time. So if I was to invest in this, I would want to know. I want to look at GitHub commits, look at the number of projects building from the initial code base, and if I saw a large increase in that, then that's one indicator that might suggest that it's a thriving ecosystem and it's worth investing in.
um, check out part of the ecosystem. Got PyTH just there. Am I
Say that
sharing my
again.
screen? Yeah, I am. Yeah, we've got PyTH as part of the ecosystem of Manta. So just
All right,
reviewed
interesting.
PyTH. Quick swap is right there. Apollo X. Interesting. But yeah, good to see this. Um, excellent. Hmm. And yeah, I'm still trying to understand. So is this a layer two? I'm not sure. This is actually going a bit over my head in terms of technical aspects.
Yeah, I think it's like a privacy-focused layer two or ZK rollups. So you
Okay.
it just means that you don't need to have complete knowledge in order to provide your validation. I am not an expert on ZK technology, but that's my
Mm-hmm.
very, very top level understanding. So it's still relying on the Ethereum network, I believe, to for for the ultimate proof, but it's building on top of that and providing lower fee transactions and
Mm.
all of that stuff.
Okay. It looks like it's got a revenue share mechanism.
Interesting.
So I think that's interesting. Let's see how this token is used. It doesn't really say.
They have a tokenomics page on the website, which I'm just looking at now. It's a Medium article. So it's backed by Polychain and Binance Labs.
Hmm.
They've got some interesting looking graphs, which I don't fully understand.
Let's get it because of the graphs. Let's.
Manta Pacific, the modular layer 2 ecosystem on Ethereum for next generation dApps, provides a scalable and inexpensive gas fee environment for applications to grow beyond the limits of traditional EVM environments.
Hmm. Yeah, and then we've got another version of it called Manta Atlantic,
Yeah, it looks like one is
which is on
Polkadot. Atlantic is
Polkadot.
Polkadot. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, yeah. Excellent. Overview. So 1 billion tokens, 2% yearly minting rate. Okay. Um, we go, okay, governance that we've got a stake in. Holders have the option to delegate their holdings. Okay. Network fees. So you need to use MANTA to pay transaction fees. So that's a good sign, and at least for me, so green flag. Let's go
Mm.
for it. And yeah, okay. So we'll leave this to people to go through. I think that's just knowing that it's got a usage for the overall ecosystem. I think it's a very good sign. I'd like to know a bit more about that revenue share. I'd like to know, if there's any requirements, if you need to hold a certain number of tokens. We've got the allocation there. Okay, so I think that the only thing that I'd like to know is if I need to have a particular number of tokens for me to be eligible for that revenue share. But apart from that, I think that this is very useful, super detailed. Yep, love it. And yeah, again, I don't know very much about what's the value of this. I think it's a bit too technical for me. But if I were to if I were to make a decision on this little information, we're here for a little bit of time already, right? We've been here for close to 45 minutes, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, I think we've been live for just over half an hour.
Okay, so I'd say that I would hold Manta, subject to knowing how the rewards system work. So there's
Mm.
revenue share. If it's a revenue share, as we all understand it, but I think that that would only condition how much I would buy of it. But I think that in terms of holding, I would go with Manta. In terms of, I'm not sure. It's a bit tough. I guess that I would flip PYTH in terms of price action wise. It looks like price movement is fairly stable, if we could say that, for a token of this market cap. So I think that there's still opportunity to, we would need a bit more analysis. There's not enough data either way, but we could even try and reach that 50 cent mark, which allows for an extra, like close to 20% increase. Oh no, it's almost a 2x, actually, my maths today. But yeah, so I will flip PYTH. Interesting project. It's being used by loads and loads of projects. And yeah, not, I wouldn't really hold it, I think, because of not having an actual utility within the network. But again, it requires a bit more details. And then I guess that I would dump Magic Store. I would just, just dump the Magic Store because it's Magic Store, Magic Square,
Square, I think, is the
Magic.
token. Yeah.
Yeah, I would dump this. Actually, price wise looks great, so I think that I will just dump it because I need to dump one of the tokens. So holding Manta, flipping PYTH, and dumping Square. How about you?
Interesting. Yeah. No, I actually agree with you 100% on this week because I totally agree with your conclusions on the two more tech-heavy projects. I think that they have good foundations, and I'm a big fan of just infrastructure buys in general. And then Magic Square or the Magic Store, do we really need it? Is it something that is like in demand? I think maybe their token price is being supported by the built-in referral system and the kind of gamification of onboarding new users, which can be very powerful, but you need an actual value proposition to back it up. And I'm not convinced that anyone's going to use the store, to be honest, when they're not being paid in
Yeah.
Square. So that's a bit of a harsh criticism, but I could be proved wrong. Happy to be proved wrong. And the other two are looking really strong. So it's going to be interesting to see in a few weeks when we come back and review these decisions. And for anyone who doesn't know, we do like roll up episodes where we take the last three and look back at the prices and decide whether or not we are geniuses or terrible investors.
Or also very lucky. There's a lot of life comes into play. So But yeah, really interesting projects actually, and yeah, looking forward to seeing how they play out. And more next week. We'll keep releasing these and a lot more content. We're going to be doing a few more different pieces of content as well, so keep an eye out for those. And yeah, thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. See you next week.